Good morning, students of standard 12. Today we are going to study topic pedigree analysis from chapter 5, principles of inheritance and variation. Pedigree analysis. It is a graphical representation of the progeny which will be obtained from parental generation. So students, pedigree analysis actually is the representation of graphics which is actually the representation of the progeny obtained from the parental generation. So students, whatever the progeny will be obtained from the parental generation when is depicted in the form of graphical representation, then that is called as pedigree analysis. The following symbols are used to represent male and female in pedigree analysis. Students, the symbols which are being used for male and female is very important in pedigree analysis. Students, generally for the males, we use the symbol of a square, whereas for the females, we generally use the symbol of a circle. And if the male is with a specific trait, then the square is shaded, which you can see students here. So if the male is with a certain trait, then that is shaded, and if a female is with a certain trait, then that is also shaded. There are particular rules of pedigree analysis. Now students, let's know what are the particular rules of pedigree analysis. Students, the first rule of the pedigree analysis is squares represent male and circles represent females. Students, this rule we have just studied in the earlier slide, that square shows the male and spherical shows the female. So that forms the first rule of the pedigree analysis. Since the second rule is the horizontal line which you are seeing here, this horizontal line connecting male and female represents mating. So students, this horizontal line which you are seeing here, which is connecting the male and female, actually shows the reproduction which is taking place. Between the male and female. So students, this horizontal line shows the mating, that is the reproduction. Now students, if you notice here, the third rule of the pedigree analysis, that is about the vertical lines. So students, the vertical lines which you are seeing here, this is the vertical line which you can see. This vertical line which is extending downwards from a couple represents their children. So students, this square and the sphere we can assume as the parents, where square is the male and spherical is the female. The horizontal line is showing the reproduction among both of these two, and the vertical line is showing the children's of the couple. So this couple has one girl and the other girl with a certain trait, because both are spheres, so we can assume that both are girls. The symbols of pedigree analysis are further utilized to determine the progeny of the parental generation. Students, this also we have studied that the symbol of the pedigree analysis is very important, because it will be further utilized to determine, that is to find out what will be the children's of a particular parental generation. So students, here the spherical was showing the female, the square was showing the male, and the horizontal line, which was the second rule of the pedigree analysis, was showing the marriage or the mating between the female and male, and the horizontal lines which you can see here, this was showing the offsprings, that is the children's which were taking birth from this parental generation. And if it is being stated fully, then the individual person is infected with a particular trait or is infected with a certain disease. And if it is only partially stated, then this shows that the person is just the carrier and not is exactly suffering from the disease or is not exactly carrying the trait. In this geographical representation of reproduction, the progeny can be determined easily. So students, with the concept which we have learned in this slide, we will be able to find out that what exactly this pedigree analysis is explaining. So students, here with the first tool of the pedigree analysis, we can know that one is a male and other is a female, because square represents male and sphere represents female. The horizontal line here represents that there is a mating or reproduction between the male and female, and the vertical line is showing the offspring, that is the children's. So students, here you can notice that whatever the traits the male and female is having, that is not further being transmitted to the children. That is, the children's of this parental generation is two girls and two boys with quite distinct characteristic features from that of their parents, because the color in the box and the sphere is grey and the color in the offspring which they have obtained is green. So this shows that whatever the gene or the trait the parents were carrying is not being transmitted to their children's. In the first generation, father is hemophilic, but in the second generation, two daughters are hemophilic. In the third generation, one daughter and one son is hemophilic. Now students, with the concept which we have learned, we can understand this pedigree analysis, where in the first generation, that is generation 1, we can notice that the father is hemophilic and the mother is not hemophilic, that is normal. And when they reproduce, so they have two females and three males. So students, here in the second generation, with the help of pedigree analysis, we can notice that two females are hemophilic from this parental generation, and in the third generation we can notice that one daughter and one son is hemophilic. So students, with the help of pedigree analysis, we can very easily find out the progeny of various generations. Now students, let's discuss a very important question. What is the importance of pedigree analysis? It helps in determining the occurrence of trait or disease in future generations of a parental generation. Thank you, students.